Hello, I'm Hazu. Today I share with you a process of something I drew for funsies. And it was so fun that it went further than I anticipated. It's a lineup of marcille and falin in different looks from this Japanese brand I discovered on Twitter. I made it on Procreate and it took me about 13.5 hours. So this started because someone suggested on Instagram that I should draw falin in different outfits, and it just so happens that in the past week, I kept coming across these really cute outfits from a brand called Snooties, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know that it's a pun on 20s, but anyway. Most of their pieces and styling have a vintage vibe, and I could see marcille and falin wearing them so clearly. I ended up selecting 6 looks. I had chosen 2 other looks for the first drawing, but changed my mind because I thought they didn't fit them very well after all. I've seen Jokokui's sketches of them in different outfits for Daydream Hour and felt like falin would fit well with the more relaxed, mature, sometimes more masculine clothes that cover the body more, and marcille would match the more vintage and polished / preppy styles. I started this very unpretentiously, kind of like a study of sorts of what they would look like in the modern world, and specifically wearing this brand. The look lineup from fashion school tendencies really shone through in this composition. So here I was close to finishing this look, which I actually ended up changing later because I wasn't personally liking it. I don't know, something about it wasn't giving me the vibes, especially marcille. But since I wanted their looks to be matching in some way, I ended up changing the both of them. I just think I couldn't style it in a cool way, and that made her look a bit off, and also falin looked a bit too sweet. So for the second look, I'm realizing that, looking back at their characterization, maybe falin wouldn't wear that. And I think it was a bit more self-indulgent than I thought at the moment. Not me starting out the video packed with self-criticism, but also I was looking for similar looks for the both of them and she looked good, so I just went with it. I'm sorry, falin. I just kept trying to figure out fun poses to get that interaction practice as well. And then it hit me, the gay thought. Maybe I should have worked up to the, spoiler alert, kiss sequence with them wearing different outfits in each of the frames of the sequence, but it's too late now. I only had kiss in mind and needed to make it happen as quick as possible. It was my mission. So I just kept editing their poses to keep the same proportions and drawing over the low opacity layer to make them get closer and closer. And that was only on look 2. Like, girl, get a grip. But anyway, I persisted, got it out, and went on to draw the last looks of the sequence after this. Like I've said before, I think some of the looks didn't work quite well because of the styling. I wanted to make Falin and Marcille fit the looks while still looking like themselves, and I'm not gonna lie, the hair was a bit of a challenge, and I honestly didn't think too hard about it. So Falin's hair just ended up being her normal hair, and with Marcille I tried being more creative with the braids, but that's pretty much it. I feel like vintage styling has a lot of hair curling, and I don't know, I felt it wouldn't work with Marcille. This goddamn hat. It was looking so weird, I couldn't get its shape right, and you'll see me struggle with it quite a bit later on as well. Time for the coloring and the details. Again, I didn't do much of a line art, I just jumped straight to colors because I was excited to see the looks become reality. And I just followed the outfits' colors and the characters' colors, and I adjusted them later on with the famous color curves and layer modes. So it was time to change the first look because I wasn't vibing with it. I decided to give them a more modern look, and I felt like these two were so perfect for them. Out of all the ones I chose, these are the ones that fit them the most. While the other ones make them look like they work at the same office or something, in this one it looks like they're going out for a cute little date. It was very fun to try and replicate the patterns and textures of the outfits. I just wanted them to look as true to life as possible, and that level of detail always pulls the look together. I forgot to record the part when I assembled this, but basically I just looked up houndstooth pattern and just drew the shape and copy-pasted 100,000 times. I went with a simple shading style for this one, brown color on a multiply layer. And by the way, I used the same simple round brush for almost everything in this, which is kind of weird because I usually prefer a more textured approach, but it seemed right for this one for some reason. For Falin's silk shirt, I used a brush that had a texture similar to the one on the actual shirt, and created a clipping mask layer on top of it to color it freely. To make the shading less simple and with a little oomph, I chose a gray color and painted it delicately over the brown, which makes it look blue by comparison. That was just what I needed to break the warm colors a bit. I also chose a lemony yellow highlight to make it a bit more fun. Here I had to make the highlight a sort of an airbrush effect because of the texture of the fabric. And then a bright pink soft brush overlay. I just can't have too much of a sober color scheme or else I die. I have a condition. More color adjustments. And then I just inserted some details and also rendered the shoes and added shine to some parts because they were looking too flat. And in the end, I did some line art sparingly just to make some parts stand out and look more solid and deep. The very last thing I did was to perform leg lengthening surgery on them because I thought the proportions were off after all this work, but it had to be done. It was a huge edit and it made all the difference. Something about the large and short canvas made me thrown off about proportions, I think. The height problem was just really a problem for this last one because I only had to make falin taller since marcille is bending forward a little bit, so I couldn't mess too much with that. This was surprisingly long for what was supposed to be a study, but I had so much fun giving it a more or less finalized look and seeing them come to life. It's fun to do studies like this sometimes, and I definitely think there's some stuff for me to improve on that they could help with. I definitely don't have as much time to study as when I wasn't a full-time artist, so it's a shame, but at least I can use that as an excuse to make YouTube videos, and to make character skits. Not that I need an excuse. Let me know any thoughts or questions you may have in the comments. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Also, should I make my video shorter? Help me. See you in the next one.